Welcome back to the Deep Dive. I'm your host, and I want to start today by asking you a question, a personal question.
Oh,
No, it's a good one. How much time have you spent in your life, and just, a rough estimate, standing in front of a bookshelf or scrolling through a streaming menu, just completely and utterly paralyzed?
that is the modern condition, isn't it? The paradox of choice.
Exactly. You know the feeling. It's Friday night, you've had a long week, you're standing there, or maybe you're sitting on the couch with the remote in your hand, and you are just staring at the options.
Thousands of them.
Hundreds of titles,
Uh,
thousands of hours of content, and your brain is doing this weird, gymnastics routine.
The internal negotiation.
Yeah.
I know it well.
Right. You're thinking, okay, do I want to be smart tonight? Do I watch that documentary about the socio-political climate of, 19th century agrarian societies? Or
Mhm.
do you just want to watch things explode?
We like to flatter ourselves in those moments, don't we?
Yeah.
We like to think that we are these high-minded cultural curators steering our own ship through the sea of content.
We're so sophisticated.
Of course, we think, I choose this book because of its literary merit, or I'm choosing this film for its cinematography.
We think we are the captains. But today we are going to strip away that illusion. We are going to strip away the dust jackets. We're going to ignore the New York Times bestseller list and the critics and, the Rotten Tomatoes scores.
Where are we going?
We're going right down to this sticky, messy, biological reality of why we read what we read.
And sticky really is the right word for it. It is going to get a little visceral today.
The mission for this deep dive is simple, but it's going to change how you look at every movie poster and every book cover from now on. We're digging into a text simply titled, Let's Face It, and specifically, we are laser focused on Chapter 20.
And the goal.
The goal, to map the biological hardwiring, the actual wetware in your brain and on your face that dictates human storytelling.
So essentially, we're going to explore the idea that the library isn't a collection of intellectual ideas. It's not some, museum of thought.
What is it?
It is a gymnasium for your glands.
A gymnasium for your glands. I absolutely love that phrasing because the source material here makes a pretty bold claim right out of the gate. It argues that we aren't in control of our reactions to art.
We think we are.
We think we are, but we aren't. Biology is driving the bus, and we are just, passengers in the back seat thinking we're steering with a little plastic toy wheel.
That is the core thesis. This text, it combines evolutionary biology, anthropology, and literary criticism to argue that specific genres, horror, comedy, romance, the thriller, they don't exist because some brilliant writer just invented them one day.
So why do they exist?
They exist because we have specific involuntary physical reflexes that need to be triggered.
It's a supply and demand economy, but the demand isn't coming from your intellect.
No,
It's coming from your nervous system.
precisely. It's coming from deep inside the machine.
So before we can even talk about the books or the movies, we have to start with the body. We have to start with the hardware.
Yeah, you have to lay the groundwork.
And the source starts with a list that I found. Well, honestly, when you see it written down on a page, stripped of all context, it's a little unsettling.
It looks less like a literary analysis and more like a medical chart.
It does. It's a list of sounds, not words, not language, just sounds. And I want to rattle these off for you. And as I do, I want you to really picture them. Maybe think about the last time you made one of these noises.
Okay.
Here we go. Laugh, weep, gasp, gag, scream, growl, sigh. And finally, the slow gasp.
Now pause there for a second. Just let those hang in the air. The crucial insight from the source isn't just that humans make these noises. We all know we make them.
Right, that's obvious.
The insight is that these are reflexes.
Okay, define that in this context, because
Yeah.
I think we use the word reflex pretty loosely in everyday life.
I mean it in the strictest physiological sense. You can control a laugh about as well as you can control a sneeze.
That is such a great analogy. Let's double click on that. Because everyone knows that feeling, the sneeze feeling.
Oh, yeah.
It starts deep in your nasal cavity, right? This little tickle. And you know it's coming.
And you can try to fight it.
You can. You can pinch your nose. You can hold your breath. You can press your tongue to the roof of your mouth. You do that weird face where you look like you're trying to solve a math problem while you're in pain.
But eventually,
No matter what you do.
biology takes over. Achoo. It's happening. Your body convulses, your eyes slam shut, air just explodes out of you. You cannot stop it.
Exactly. It is a physiological imperative. Now, apply that same logic to these emotional sounds.
Okay.
You might be able to suppress a laugh for a second to be polite, say if you're at a funeral or a really serious business meeting. But the impulse, the actual contraction of the diaphragm, the spark in the brain, that is completely out of your hands.
Or holding back tears. We've all done that.
Huh.
You're watching a movie with a date,
Yeah.
or you're in public, and something really sad happens.
Yeah. You clamp your jaw shut, you stare up at the ceiling, but the pressure just builds and builds.
And if the stimulus is strong enough, the dam breaks.
Mhm.
The weep happens. It is hardwired into your nervous system. You don't decide to weep any more than you decide to bleed when you're cut.
It just happens to you.
It happens to you.
And the central argument of, let's face it, is that these sounds, they aren't just random noise. They aren't just waste products of emotion.
Not at all.
They are the soundtrack to specific facial expressions. And those expressions map directly, and I mean directly to the layout of a modern bookstore.
It's a taxonomy. I mean, we usually think of genres as just marketing categories,
Yeah.
right? Mystery is just where they put the books with the detectives on the cover.
Where romance is where they put the books with the Fabio covers.
Exactly. But this source argues that mystery and romance are actually sorting mechanisms for specific biological reflexes. They're not arbitrary. We are absolutely going to walk through that map aisle by aisle because it is fascinating.
Yeah.
But first, we need to establish the ground rules. We need to understand why we have these reflexes in the first place.
The evolutionary purpose.
Yes. And the source uses a metaphor that really clicked for me. It says the human face acts like a dog's wagging tail.
It's a perfect metaphor for the involuntary nature of our emotions. I mean, think about a dog. A dog can be complex, can be trained, it can be trying to be sneaky, or maybe it's trying to be submissive to a larger dog. But if it is happy, if it is truly genuinely excited,
That tail is gone.
that tail betrays it. It wags. It's a broadcast signal that it can't turn off.
It's a tell, like in poker.
It is a massive tell, and the source argues that our faces do the exact same thing. It is a reflex that subverts our conscious choice to hide our feelings.
So I might want to look stoic or brave or indifferent.
But your face is sending these honest emotional messages to your packmates, regardless of your intent. Packmates. I really like that phrase. It grounds this whole discussion in our tribal origins. We aren't just individuals reading books in isolation.
No, we are fundamentally pack animals.
We are. And in a pack, communication is survival, right?
Absolutely. If I see fear on your face, I don't need you to write me a memo explaining that there was a predator nearby.
There's no time.
I don't need a text message saying, lion, run.
Way too slow.
We'd both be eaten. If I have to process language, we're dead. But if I just look at you and I see your eyes widen, your skin go pale, and your mouth open in a scream, my mirror neurons fire instantly.
You don't even have to think about it.
I see your fear, I feel your fear, and my body prepares for flight before my conscious brain is even caught up. We both survive.
So these faces and sounds, they are essentially high-speed data transfers, pre-verbal Wi-Fi.
Exactly. Speed is survival. And the source identifies 8 of these primal emotions that are broadcast via the face.
Okay, what are they?
We have happiness, sadness, surprise, revulsion, fear, anger, love, and awe.
8 distinct channels. Now, I want to play the skeptic for a second here,
Please do.
because a listener might be thinking, okay, sure, I smile when I'm happy. But isn't a lot of this learned? Like, I smile because I saw my mom smile when I was a baby.
The nurture argument.
Yeah, the nurture argument. I frown because that's what people in my culture do. Maybe in another culture, they stick up their tongue when they're happy or something.
That is the classic nature versus nurture debate. And it's a fair question. Cultural conditioning is a very real thing. But this source puts a pretty heavy thumb on the scale for nature. It argues this software comes pre-installed.
What's the proof? Because that's a big claim to make. You can't just say that without backing it up.
The evidence, and this is really profound, actually lies in the study of children who are born both blind and deaf.
Oh, wow. Okay, let's just stop and think about the implication of that for a moment. That's incredible.
These are children who have never seen a face. They have never seen a smile, a frown, a grimace, or a swoon. They have never heard a laugh, a scream, a sigh, or a growl. They have absolutely zero sensory input to mimic. They cannot be learning these behaviors from their parents or from society because they can't perceive them.
They are living in a world of touch and, I guess, internal sensation.
Exactly. And
Thanks,
yet,
Emmy.
they express all 8 of these primal emotions via the exact same facial expressions and sounds as you or I.
That is actually kind of beautiful and also a little bit haunting.
It is. A child who has never seen a smile will still contract the zygomatic major muscle. That's the smile muscle when they feel happiness. They will frown when they're angry. They will weep when they're sad.
So it's not learned.
It proves the behavior is innate. It is genetic code, not social conditioning.
Hmm?
We come out of the box with this operating system already loaded.
So it's not like learning a language where you have to be taught French or English or whatever. It's like breathing.
It is exactly like breathing. It's a fundamental part of the human machine.
So if it's genetic, that means it should be universal, right? It shouldn't matter if I'm in a skyscraper in New York City or, I don't know, the middle of the Amazon rainforest.
And that brings us to the anthropological proof that's provided in the text. The author takes us on a little mental trip to Papua New Guinea.
Okay.
Specifically, we're looking at the four-foragers.
The four foragers. I love the detail the author adds here. He notes, and I'm quoting here, that these people have some of the weirdest cultural practices you have ever seen.
He does add a cheeky little parenthetical, though,
What's that?
unless you live in my hometown, Berkeley.
It's a little shade thrown at Berkeley there. I like it. But the point is well taken. Culturally, the four foragers could not be more different from a modern Westerner.
Not even close.
Their rituals, their daily lives, their beliefs, their diet, it's totally alien to us. So if culture dictated our expressions, we shouldn't be able to understand them at all.
Think about it. You go there. You don't speak the language. You don't know the customs. You might offend them just by, scanning the wrong way. But if you smile, the connection is immediate. Despite those vast cultural chasms, a smile in the highlands of Papua New Guinea looks exactly like a smile in a coffee shop in London.
A frown is a frown.
Horror, anger, fear. The facial architecture is identical.
It's the universal language. It predates all spoken language.
It does. I mean, before we had words, we had faces. The source even mentions games. It points out that peekaboo is understood globally.
Peekaboo.
Every mother in every culture plays it with her baby.
Which makes sense if you think about it as like surprise practice, right?
Exactly. It's playing with object permanence. Mom is gone. Oh, wait, mom is back. Gasp. It triggers that little reflex of surprise and then relief. It's a workout for the nervous system.
Okay, so we've established the hardware. We have these 8 primal reflexes, these sounds and faces that we can't control, that are genetically hardwired and that are universal across the entire species.
The foundation is set.
Now, I want to take this biology and walk into the mall. Let's go to the bookstore.
The taxonomy of genes, as the source calls it.
I love this concept, the genre theory. Basically, the idea is that the signs hanging over the aisles, mystery, romance, horror, they aren't just arbitrary categories invented by librarians or marketers.
No, they're sorting mechanisms for our biological reflexes.
Explain that.
The argument is that we're going to walk through these aisles, and we will see which biological reflex created which genre. The genre exists because the reflex exists, not the other way around.
So we didn't invent comedy and then decide to laugh at it.
Exactly. We have a laugh reflex, so we invented the entire genre of comedy just to trigger it.
Okay, let's break this down. We have 8 emotions, 8 sounds, 8 faces, and therefore 8 core genres. I want to go through these one by one because the pairings are just so perfect. It really does change how you look at a movie poster.
Let's do it. Where should we start?
Number 1, the emotion is happiness. The facial expression, of course, is the smile.
And the involuntary sound is the laugh.
Which gives us the genre of... Okay, this one is the most obvious, right? You go to a comedy club to laugh. But let's dig a bit deeper into the mechanics of this. Why do we need to laugh? Like, biologically, what is happening?
Well, think about the involuntary nature of it again. A really good comedy makes you laugh even if you're in a terrible mood.
Oh, for sure.
It forces the air out of your lungs in these rhythmic spasms. It contracts the muscles all around your eyes.
It's physically exhausting sometimes. You know when you laugh so hard your stomach hurts the next day?
That's the point. It's a convulsion. You are literally paying money to have your happiness reflex triggered. And socially, laughter is a play signal.
A play signal.
Yeah, it tells the rest of the pack, everything is okay here, we are safe. This thing that just happened was unexpected, but it's not dangerous.
So when we watch a sitcom or we go to a stand-up show with a big crowd, we are basically simulating a safe social environment with our pack.
Exactly. We are hacking our own safety sensors. Notice how hard it is to really laugh when you're alone.
It is. You might chuckle at something on your phone, but that big, deep belly laugh, that usually happens with other people.
Because it's a broadcast signal. It needs a receiver. It's meant to be shared.
Okay, let's flip the coin. Let's go to the other side of the emotional spectrum. Number 2. The emotion is sadness, the facial expression. The source calls this the puss face.
It's a bit uncharitable, but descriptive. It refers to that sour, downturned look of the mouth, the trembling chin, the brow furrowing in that very specific way.
And the involuntary sound is weep. And the genre, of course, is tragedy.
Right.
Now, this is one I've always found weird. Why do we pay money to be sad? Why do we watch The Notebook or Titanic or Schindler's List? Why do we actively want to weep?
It seems counterintuitive, doesn't it?
Okay.
The basic rule of life is avoid pain, seek pleasure. But we flock to these movies.
We do. People will literally say, I need a good cry.
It's the concept of catharsis, which goes all the way back to the Greeks, but biologically it's about exercising that specific reflex. The weep is a release mechanism.
A release of what?
Research shows that emotional tears, as opposed to just, lubricating tears from cutting an onion, they actually contain stress hormones.
Wait, really? So we're literally crying out stress from our bodies?
You're literally expelling chemicals from your body. In the wild, it would signal helplessness to the pack, which invites comfort and aid. But in a movie theater, you're safe. You can exercise that release mechanism without any of the actual trauma.
So the genre of tragedy exists solely to provide a safe stimulus that allows that hardware to run.
You are basically taking your emotional dog for a walk.
That is a fantastic way to put it.
You're letting the dog bark and run and howl in a controlled environment so it doesn't tear up the furniture at home. If you suppress sadness in your real life constantly, sometimes you just need a movie to pull the plug and let the drain empty.
That makes me feel a lot better about sobbing during Pixar movies.
As you should. It's hygiene. It's emotional hygiene.
All right, moving on. Number 3, the emotion is surprise.
The facial expression. Shock. Eyes wide open, eyebrows way up.
And the sound here is very specific. The quick gasp.
And the genre. The thriller.
This is the jump scare, right? Or the big plot twist at the end.
Yes. That sharp intake of breath.
Hmm.
Think about what that does biologically.
I can feel it just doing it now. My chest tightens up. My heart rate probably just went up a little.
It rapidly oxygenates the blood. It prepares you for fight or flight. Your body thinks, something changed. Get ready to run or fight. A thriller is designed to elicit that specific physiological spike. It's an adrenaline shot you pay for.
It's interesting because so many people say they hate jump scares, but they keep going to see them.
Because the rush is addictive. It's a system check.
Are my reflexes still working? Yes. Good. We like to know the machine is in good order.
Now, I want you to compare that to number 4, because I think people often confuse these two genres. The emotion is revulsion.
This is a crucial distinction. Revulsion is not the same as surprise. The facial expression is the grimace. The nose wrinkled, the upper lip pulled back, tongue maybe pushing forward. The ew face, the face you make when you smell spoiled milk.
Exactly. And the sound, the gag.
And the genre is horror.
Now, wait a second.
Yeah.
I always lump thriller and horror together.
Yeah.
If I go to Netflix, they're usually in the same bucket. But you're saying biologically, they are different. According to this source, yes, and I think the distinction is brilliant. A thriller is about the shock. It targets the gasp. It's, oh my God, the killer's behind the door.
Right.
Horror is about the revulsion. It targets the gag. It's visceral. It's gore. It's rot. It's bodily fluids. It's squelching sounds. It's things that make your stomach turn.
That's so true. The feeling of watching a slasher movie where someone gets dismembered is a very different physical feeling from watching a suspense movie where someone is hacking a computer against a deadline.
Completely different.
One makes you jump, the other makes you want to look away or even throw up.
Exactly. The gag reflex is an evolutionary defense against poison or disease. It's about expelling bad food.
It's your body saying, don't eat that rotting meat.
Right. That is dangerous. Get it away from your mouth. Do not let that inside you. Horror plays on that deep, deep fear of contamination or bodily violation. It triggers the gut, not just the heart.
That explains why body horror is such a specific and effective subgenre. It's targeting the gag reflex directly.
Precisely. The source gives a great rule of thumb. If you're covering your eyes, it's probably a thriller. If you're covering your mouth, it's horror.
Oh, that is a perfect rule of thumb. I'm going to use that. Okay, number 5, the emotion. Fear.
The facial expression, afraid, pale skin, maybe some sweat, trembling.
And the sound. The scream.
Which gives us the genre, ghost stories.
Okay, so how is this different from horror or thriller? It seems close.
The scream is a distress signal. It is loud. It is designed to summon help from the pack. Ghost stories tap into the fear of the unknown, the predator in the dark that you can't see.
The unseen threat.
Yes. It's not just the gross out of horror or the jump of the thriller. It's the existential dread. It's the I am in danger and I am small feeling.
It's the feeling of being hunted by something you can't fight.
Yes. And the scream is the natural response to finally being caught. It's a call for backup.
Number 6. This is one of my favorites in the list because it feels so primal. The emotion, anger.
Facial expression, the frown, brows furrowed down, jaw set, eyes narrowed into a glare.
And the involuntary sound, the growl.
Which gives us the genre, the revenge fantasy.
The growl, that feels very animalistic. Do humans actually growl?
We do. Maybe not like a wolf, but think about the sound you make when you are deeply frustrated or angry. That grare, that low guttural sound in your throat.
Okay, I can see that.
Now think about the movies where the bad guy finally gets what's coming to him. Think about John Wick or Taken or Gladiator.
Like that moment.
When the hero lands that final punch or delivers the fatal blow, what does the audience do? They don't just sit there quietly.
They make a noise. It's this low collective yeah or yes.
Exactly, the low guttural approval.
Yeah, it's a growl of satisfaction.
It's that yeah, get 'em feeling. It's aggressive. It is the pack asserting dominance or enforcing justice. We aren't just watching a story. We are vicariously participating in a dominance display. We are reinforcing the social order by growling at the bad dog who broke the rules.
And it feels righteous, doesn't it?
It feels incredibly satisfying, and that's why revenge films are so popular. They satisfy that deep-seated urge to punish the rule breaker and restore balance.
Okay, number 7. A bit of a tonal shift. The emotion, love.
Facial expression, the swoon, soft eyes, relaxed facial muscles, head tilted, maybe a little flush in the cheeks.
The sound, sigh.
And the genre,
Yeah,
romance.
That's
It's the release of tension.
yeah.
The swoon is a sign of submission, not in a bad way, but in an I trust you, I am safe with you way. It's a response to overwhelming positive emotion.
So romance novels and rom-coms are literally engineered to lead you to that sigh.
Absolutely. The entire plot structure is built around it. You have the meet cute, the conflict, the all is lost moment, and then the final reconciliation.
It's true. If you get to the end of a Hallmark movie and they finally kiss in the snow and you don't go, ah, or let out a little breath, the movie has failed.
Exactly. The genre is a delivery system for the sigh. It's a chemical hit of oxytocin you've been waiting for. You read 300 pages of conflict just to get that one single release at the end.
It's a very long setup for a specific exhalation.
That's a great way to describe a romance novel, and it works every time.
And finally, number 8, the last one. The emotion is awe.
Facial expression, the gape, mouth open, slack-jawed, eyes wide.
And the sound is distinct from the thriller's gasp. It's not the quick gasp, it is.
The slow gasp.
And the genre is magic or religion.
This one is profound. A thriller makes you go, ouch, in a split second. It's a reaction to immediate threat or surprise.
Right.
Awe makes you go, woo. It's that slow intake of breath as you try to process something that is larger than yourself.
The slow gasp. That's the feeling of looking at the Grand Canyon for the first time, or seeing a clear night sky full of stars.
Or, in a bookstore context, reading a high fantasy epic like Lord of the Rings, or a religious text that describes the creation of the universe. It creates a sense of scale that dwarfs your own concerns.
It's that feeling of being small but in a good way, like you're connected to something huge and magnificent.
Precisely. It resets your perspective. It's the opposite of the me-focused emotions like anger or fear. It's universe-focused. It's about transcendence.
I have to mention, just as a humorous aside, the source author mentions a personal ambition here. He feels like there's a missing genre on this list.
Oh, yes. His personal project.
The author notes that he wants to carve out a new literary niche for his father's favorite expression.
Which is?
The Tixton look askance.
The schizoid of disapproval.
He wants to create the judgmental aunt genre, and honestly, I think there is a huge market for that.
Oh, absolutely. Stories about people making bad decisions while we get to sit back and judge them. That's basically the entire industry of reality TV.
That is reality TV. He predicted The Real Housewives.
He really did. Look at what she's wearing. Can you believe she said that to him? Chicks.
So we have this map. We've walked the aisles. But the source goes deeper than just the list. It starts to ask why we are drawn to these specific things evolutionarily. Not just the physical reflex, but the survival function behind the story.
Right.
For example, why do we have a mystery section at all? Why do we care who killed the butler in the library with the candlestick?
Right. This moves from the what to the why. And the source argues that the mystery section exists to satisfy primate curiosity.
We are curious monkeys.
We are deeply curious monkeys. Imagine you're a primate on the savannah. If you see a moved rock or a broken branch or a footprint that wasn't there yesterday, you need to know why.
Because it could be important. It's information.
It's vital information. Is it a predator?
Yeah.
Is it a new source of food? Is it a rival troop moving into your territory? If you just ignore the puzzle, you might die. So our brains evolved to reward us with a little hit of dopamine when we solve a mystery.
Uh-huh.
Exactly. The aha moment feels good for a reason. And mystery novels scratch that itch in a perfectly safe environment. We get to be the detective without the risk of being eaten by the leopard. We get the dopamine hit of solving the puzzle, of connecting all the dots.
And what about science fiction? Why do we care so much about spaceships and lasers and warp drives?
The logic there is that it appeals to our innate human fascination with novel tools.
Tools. As simple as that.
Humans are the tool users.
Yeah.
That is our superpower. We don't have claws, we don't have sharp teeth, we're not very fast, but we have tools. Fire, the wheel, the spear, the iPhone.
So sci-fi is essentially tool porn.
It is. It plays on that biological trait that says, ooh, what does this new gadget do? How can this tool change my life? How can it give me an advantage? Whether it's a lightsaber or a teleportation device, our brains light up because we are hardwired to seek advantage through technology.
That makes so much sense. We look at the shiny new tech and our deep brain thinks survival advantage.
I want that.
Yeah.
Or I need to understand how that works in case it's used against me.
And then there's suspense. How is that different from mystery? They feel related.
They are, but the source makes a key distinction. Suspense exploits the predictive power of anticipation.
Break that down for me.
Well, survival often depends on predicting what happens next. If I hear a rustle in the grass, my brain immediately starts running simulations. Is it a lion? Is it just the wind? Is it a rabbit? My senses heighten. My focus narrows. I'm preparing for multiple outcomes.
So suspense fiction, like a Hitchcock movie, hijacks that system.
It wakes up all your senses to an approaching event. The bomb under the table that the characters don't know about, but we, the audience, do. It's basically hacking your survival anticipation engine.
That's why you get so tense.
It forces you to simulate the future, which is exactly what your brain evolved to do to keep you alive. You are sitting on the edge of your seat because your body is physically preparing for the future event.
God, it really does make you feel like a machine, doesn't it? Like you just press a button labeled suspense, and the anticipation gears start turning whether you want them to or not.
It definitely challenges our sense of agency. We are, in many ways, biomachines responding to very specific inputs.
Which brings us to the big conflict in this deep dive, the real battle. High art versus the glands.
The Faulkner paradox.
Exactly, because not everyone is happy about this idea that we are just hairless apes looking for a dopamine hit. There's this tension in the literary world. You have the keepers of the canon, the professors, the critics, the gatekeepers, who view these genres we just talked about as cheap.
Yes, they call it genre fiction. And it's usually said with a little bit of a sneer.
There's an implied judgment.
Yes, the implication is that there is literature with a capital L, which is intellectual and spiritual and refined. And then there is this other stuff, writing for the glands, which is just about stimulating these base reflexes, making you laugh, cry, or gag.
And the source focuses on William Faulkner, the giant of American literature, and his Nobel Prize acceptance speech. This is a pivotal moment in literary history.
It's a very famous speech. Faulkner stood up, this is 1950, in Stockholm, black tie affair, and he called on future authors not to write merely for the glands.
Not for the glands. That's the phrase.
He urged them to write about the human heart in conflict with itself, to aim higher, to write about honor and pity and pride and compassion and sacrifice. He wanted art to be about the spirit, not the body.
Which sounds noble. It sounds like the definition of high art.
It does. It sounds beautiful. But the source points out a massive irony here, a hypocrisy, really.
Because what was Faulkner actually writing? If you go and actually open a Faulkner novel, what do you find? Is it just people sitting around in a parlor discussing honor and pride?
It is far from it. At the very moment he gave that speech, Faulkner was being rewarded for being, and I'm quoting the source here, the best writer for the glands this country has ever known.
The call is coming from inside the house.
Truly, if you look at the themes in Faulkner's work, The Sound and the Fury, As I Lay Dying, Sanctuary, they aren't dry intellectual treatises on the human condition.
Yep.
They're brutal.
No. The source lists them out, and it is a wild list. I want to read this because it sounds like the taglines for a dozen different horror movies and thrillers. We're talking incest, serial killing, insanity, race war, castration, burial of the dead, biblical floods, hunting bears.
And most vividly, rape with a corn cob.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
that is visceral. That is horror. That is revulsion. That is the gag reflex front and center.
It is the definition of glandular writing.
Okay.
He hits every single one of those primal reflexes we discussed earlier. He has the weep from tragedy, scream from fear, the growl of anger, the gag of revulsion, the slow gasp of awe at the sublime southern landscape.
Oh, he was up on stage preaching high art while his entire career was built on mastering glandular art.
Exactly. And that's not a criticism of his work, it's the opposite. There's this great quote in the text about Faulkner. The guy played our genome like a xylophone.
That is the key image for me. Faulkner wasn't successful despite the glands. He was successful because he was a master of the xylophone. He knew exactly which key to hit: fear, revulsion, awe, lust, to get a powerful reaction from the reader.
He was a virtuoso of the nervous system.
So his speech was kind of, wishful thinking, an attempt to rebrand himself.
Perhaps it was self-delusion. Or maybe he was trying to distance himself from the very tools that made him great. He called for transcending the endocrinological, the hormonal system, while simultaneously being the greatest master of triggering it.
It's like a master chef telling people not to enjoy food just because it tastes good.
Yes,
Don't eat for the flavor, eat for the spirit of the nutrition.
exactly. Ignore the salt and fat and sugar and just appreciate the concept of sustenance. But we eat for the taste and we read for the feeling.
So the source asks a final, really poignant question in response to Faulkner's speech.
Yes. The author just throws the challenge right back at him. If not for the glands, for what?
If not for the glands, for what? That's the mic drop question, isn't it?
It implies that biology is the foundation of all engagement. You cannot have high art without first engaging the animal. If you don't trigger the smile, the weep, the gasp, or the gag, you don't have a reader. You just have a bored person looking at ink on paper.
The source ends with a simple command, a call to action. It just says, let's check the science.
Which is what we've done today. And the science says the glands are in charge.
So what does this all mean for us? For the listener driving to work or washing the dishes right now, we've gone from involuntary sneezes and growls all the way to the Nobel Prize for literature. What's the takeaway?
I think the main takeaway is that we shouldn't feel guilty about our entertainment choices. We shouldn't feel guilty about loving a trashy thriller or a weepy romance or a dumb comedy.
No guilt.
No guilt, because you aren't just wasting time. You are exercising a biological imperative. You are maintaining the machinery of your emotion.
Yeah, it's a tune-up.
It's a tune-up. You are letting the dog wag its tail, letting the pack know you are safe, or you are practicing your response for when danger comes.
The bookshelf is a mirror.
It is. It's not just a catalog of stories someone made up. It is a mirror of the human face and the primal emotions that are hardwired into us. It's a reflection of our own DNA.
So here is the final thought I want to leave you with today. The next time you are scrolling through Netflix or standing in a bookstore or, let's be honest, browsing Amazon, and you are trying to pick something, don't ask yourself, what is the most intellectual choice? Don't try to be Faulkner in his speech.
No, be Faulkner in his books.
Right. Ask yourself, which gland am I trying to target right now?
Precisely. Do I need a good workout for my surprise reflex? Or is my anger reflex feeling a little understimulated? Are you looking for the slow gasp of awe? Are you looking for the growl of revenge? Or do you just need the sigh of romance?
And here's the final question. Is it even possible to appreciate high art without first satisfying the animal inside? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. You have to feed the dog first.
Feed the dog. I love it. Thanks for taking the deep dive with us.
Until next time.